It's time for your daily dose of all things Chicago sports. This is the Daily Score. Now, here's your host, Mark Grote.
Welcome into the show. Glad you are here for the Daily Score. I am Mark Grote, along with our executive producer, Ray Diaz. And, I continue to want to find verification, validation, confirmation that what Justin Fields has done the last 2 weeks is legitimate. And I can't call it yet. I'm not going to sit here and say that after 2 weeks of really terrific quarterback play from Justin Fields, that, okay, it's on and it is clicked and it is real and it's never going to go away again. There's no way that I would say that at this point. But one of my goals throughout this week, whether at Haugh or on the Score, is to ask people and find out, is it legitimate what Justin Fields has done now in back-to-back weeks? One against a bad defense in Denver, one against a better defense in Washington, but not great and didn't seem to have a good game plan. But one with a sturdy defensive front and good on the Bears' offensive line to have quelled that to a large degree. But one of the guys that was on the Score today, I was filling in for Matt Spiegel on the Parkins and Spiegel show, and we had Chase Daniel on, a weekly visitor to that program, who was going to break down the Justin Fields tape every week or each of his games. So we posed that question to the former Bears quarterback, now analyst Chase Daniel: is what's going on with Justin Fields real?
Even if it's Denver and Washington, it doesn't matter, because they're still an NFL football team, right? They're still an NFL football team. You still have to go out there, make the throws. And what I'm seeing is different than just like, hey, it's bad defensive plays. I'm seeing really good throws. Okay. And what I'm seeing is growth. I'm not saying it's going to continue, because I don't know. No one knows. No one has a glass mirror ball, right? But you continue to look at how his progression is. And that's what I care about. I don't care about the throws. They're great. You got to make them. I care about the progression week in and week out. And he's just continuing to climb that ladder. He's just continuing to get better every single week. And that is all you can ask for. And that, at the end of the day, brings confidence, right? In this league, success is the only thing that can bring confidence to a young quarterback trying to find his way. And that's what's happening right now with Justin Fields.
Yeah. Well, and again, that's Chase Daniel. Success is happening. For the last 2 weeks, success is happening. And look, if against Minnesota this week he sucks and he throws 2 picks, I'm not going to revert back to, okay, he sucks. I'm not ready. God, I hope I don't do that. I mean, that'd be some major flip-floppage, because I am, as I've told you guys, I am just back in that place of, okay, there has been I don't know if anything clicked, but they have turned the corner here in terms of Justin Fields, or he has, in some regard. Doesn't mean he's going to be good or elite or anything like that, but he has turned a corner. How about that? And I want to see if this continues to grow, because now we've seen it. Now we don't have to use like college Justin Fields as a reference all the time, which we do, which I've done too many times. Like, the guy threw it. He was great in college, man. He threw the ball. Now we have a reference point for, yes, he is capable of dominating a game, as we've seen with his arm. And we've seen that in the last 2 weeks. So if nothing else, there is a new reference point. At least there is, in my opinion. So that was Chase Daniel, who is, like I said, just great once a week here on the Score. And then the other guy that we talked to on the afternoon show on Parkins and Spiegel was the great Peter King of NBC and other places. And that is what I brought up to him, was the fact that this win, and you know this, that this win did wonders for the Bears in terms of quieting everything. The 40-20 win over Washington on Thursday night, because it was so loud off the field, on the field, everywhere. And it is amazing what a win can do, a convincing win, a win in which your first-round quarterback played really well, just really quieted a lot. The stuff is still, bubbling, but it is sunk to some degree. And, brought that up to Peter King in terms of how we're supposed to look at this team right now in terms of winning and Justin Fields and everything that has been the Bears and maybe everything that is the Bears based on this past week.
Everything obviously is a lot better than it was before last week, but just look at the direction of the Bears right now. Basically, 3 of the last 4 halves of football have been winning and almost you'd call it dominant football. And
Almost.
So it's not 1 or 2 or 3 series. It's not fluky. It's essentially, this is the team that Ryan Poles built for the most part. This is the player he went out and traded for. It might not have been that DJ Moore was his first choice with Carolina, but be that as it may, he is a legitimate top receiver. And that is what the Bears needed most of all. And so they've made the right moves. Let's see what happens. Teams, after 5 weeks, it's impossible. Like I've been saying to people about the Cowboys, will everybody just stop, please, with, the Cowboys season is over. They beat an NFL playoff team by 40 to start this season. They just beat Bill Belichick by 35. They had a terrible loss on Sunday, but there's a lot of teams that would like Dallas Cowboys problems right now. So I think you have to be careful overplaying one game, but I mean, the last 2 weeks, you got to like what you've seen out of the Bears.
He almost derailed himself with that Dallas segment. I didn't really, or the Dallas tangents. I didn't in real time during that interview. I didn't realize how tangled up he was getting himself, Peter King, worked up over the Dallas Cowboys. Wow. It's good, man. Like after all those years doing it, man, you can still get pissed off about something. That damn Cowboys, man. You notice that, Ray? I mean, that's what happened. He just got all wound up about that. Them Cowboys. But he got back. And I loved that he said the Bears were almost dominant. Like, that's kind of like right. And that's why I said during I was like, amen. Because the Bears almost look dominant. They almost look dominant against Washington. I don't know if we're ready to use that word just based on how bereft of dominance the Bears had been previously. But that is something. So, and then, he actually used the words not fluky. So that's nice to hear as well. The other part too, we talk about it clicking and things finally falling into place and turning the corner. The offensive line has kind of showing some signs of that as well. I mean, the protection, did you see those pockets that the Bears created in that game? So it would be really weird almost though to say that it clicked that night just because of all the moving parts with the offensive line, that you had Lucas Patrick starting at center, and by the end of the game, Cody Whitehair was your starting center. Tevin Jenkins, who had been doing some rotating with Cody Whitehair at left guard, was in there by the end. Jatari Carter made an appearance, and Nate Davis, man, I mean, kind of worth the wait. Like, Nate Davis has been very good in the last couple of weeks, the 2 games that he has played in. He's the one that he and Darnell Wright opened up the big hole for Khalil Herbert in the first quarter, the 35-yard burst, which really set a tempo in terms of controlling the football. So things are, and Darnell Wright, and I'd have to talk to a higher authority than I when it comes to really breaking down the fundamentals of an offensive lineman. But like Darnell Wright, like he's a guy that's getting people to look at him and say, yeah, that's a pretty good product that you have there. Can't wait until Braxton Jones is back as well. Larry Borom, while I guess you could probably call him the weak link of the offensive line, he's been fine. And I guess fine is probably about what one would expect out of a swing tackle in Larry Borom. But I got to give a lot of credit to what the offensive line has been able to do this week. I assume that this week we are going to see Tevin Jenkins. That's it. He will be the lone guy at left guard, back in full force, all of that. But what I don't know yet is what happens at center now. Is it back to Whitehair? Is Lucas Patrick? He's got the concussion. He may very well just be out to make that decision a little bit more clear. But there is some things that need to be situated. One other thing too, and we'll talk more about it as the week goes on. I definitely want to see Justin Fields take another step this week, and that is to kind of work on getting chemistry with people, with more of these guys too. Like the DJ Moore gives you 230 and 3 every week. That's fine. But I'd love to see some confidence built with Darnell Mooney. You're going to need that eventually, because there will be periods in games now more than ever where DJ Moore is taken away. So you want to see him start to build that with other receivers as well. And obviously he can do that. We have seen that for sure. That's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for what's your name? Ray Diaz?
Ray.
Yeah, Ray Diaz, the executive producer of the Daily Score. I am Mark Grote. I will talk to you tomorrow. Goodbye.